Chapter 8:31. It was daytime right now, and people from the school did not dare to go down the mountain. Therefore, a lot of people had noticed this. The leader, the masters, and the disciples were all paying attention. "Leader, it seems like Master Yi has made a breakthrough," the headmaster of the school said to Li Zhangfeng with a smile. Li Zhangfeng said happily, "This is a good thing. Master Yi has indeed reached half-step king warrior realm at such a young age. His improvement is so fast. Leader, Master Yi has made a breakthrough in his cultivation. We should go congratulate him." The second master, who was also at late seas of Soul's realm, suggested. Li Zhangfeng nodded, "You are right. We should go and congratulate him." Just like that, Li Zhangfeng brought a bunch of inner masters and a couple of core disciples to congratulate Yichen. It was a very grand occasion. Although Yichen did not like it, he did not want to be treated coldly either. So, he accepted their kindness. "Gao Ziyuan, you stay." Before everyone left, Yichen called out to Gao Ziyuan. Gao Ziyuan was a bit surprised. Li Zhangfeng was also very surprised, but he did not think that Yichen would do anything to Gao Ziyuan. He thought that he would probably give him something good, so he said, "Ziyuan, Master Yi asked you to stay, so you should stay." "Yes, leader." Gao Ziyuan stayed. Waiting until everyone left, Yichen said to Gao Ziyuan, "I have been observing you secretly. Your mental state has already reached late seas of Soul's realm. As long as you have enough resources, you will be able to increase your cultivation in a short period of time. Reaching peak level late seas of Soul's realm will not be hard at all." Gao Ziyuan held his fists together and said, "Thank you for the compliment, Master Yi. But the school does not have enough resources. Being able to train with top-rank spirit stones, I am already satisfied." He had already learned from the leader that the reason why the school was able to give out enough top-rank spirit stones was because of Yi Chen's support. Right now, the school is still very weak. There are not many powerful warriors. I alone will not be able to make the school prosper. I will still need you guys. A sect couldn't do without peak experts, but it also couldn't be without a backbone. Peak experts were used to intimidate others, and only the backbone could do the real thing. Otherwise, if Yichen had to worry about everything, wouldn't he have no time to cultivate? Ziyuan has the confidence to reach late sea of Soul realm within 2 years. Gao Ziyuan cursed. 2 years is too long. Yichen shook his head and took out 10 Zhenyuan crystals from his storage ring, handing them over. "These are Zhenyuan crystals, enough for you to reach the peak of late sea of Soul realm. As for how long it will take, it will depend on your foundation." No matter how high one's state of mind was, one's foundation had to be solid. It was like a wooden bucket filled with water. There could not be a single shortcoming. Zhenyuan crystal? Gao Ziyuan was shocked. These were even better training items than extreme rank spirit stones. Could it be that Yi Chen could create Zhenyuan crystals himself? Normally, only life and death realm warriors could do it. But nothing was absolute, and a small portion of half-step king warriors could do it as well. Gao Ziyuan thought that these Zhenyuan crystals were created by Yi Chen himself, so he did not expect it to be from somewhere else. "Go!" Yi Chen waved his hand. "Thank you, Master Yi." Gao Ziyuan walked out of the great master's palace gratefully. With these Zhenyuan crystals, he had the confidence to reach mid-sea of Soul realm within half a month. As for late sea of Soul realm, it would depend on the situation. Sword realm. On a small mountain deep in the back of the mountains, Yichen was surrounded by a blue chi flow, covering hundreds of miles of area within a second. Ting, ting. Countless sword cries rang out. In the void, many green swords were condensed. The swords were long and narrow, flashing with a cold light, causing people to shudder. "Go!" Yichen yelled with a low voice. "Two, two, two, two." Thousands of blue great swords shot out, flying across the top of the mountain in front of them. Their speed was extremely shocking, not much slower than the defensive sword spell. Without a sound, the top of the mountain in front of them seemed to have been eroded by the wind. Countless dust particles were blown into the air before disappearing along with the wind. After reaching the high-rank half-step king warrior realm, the sword realm's coverage has increased a lot, and its attacking power has increased a lot as well. Each blue great sword has the power of a peak-level late sea of Soul Realm Warrior's full power attack. Although a peak-level late sea of Soul Realm Warrior could attack multiple times within a second, tens of thousands of blue great swords would be equivalent to thousands of peak-level late sea of Soul Realm Warriors attacking at once. I am afraid it would be able to easily kill a top half-step King Warrior at the first level of the Life and Death Challenge. Even a second-level warrior would not be able to survive. The Sword Realm was extremely useful. No matter if it was a one-on-one battle or facing a group of warriors, it would have a huge destructive power. Days passed by, and Yi Chen's mid-rank sword forging art had finally reached perfection. Next, he would be able to forge top-rank great swords. However, Yi Chen did not give up just like that. He spent all of his attention on learning the profound. The higher the profound, the harder it would be to improve. No matter how talented one was or how high one's comprehensive ability was, one would not be able to improve one's profound that fast. This was something that Yi Chen had already felt. However, after forging great swords for a long time, Yi Chen's understanding of the metal profound was extremely deep. He was just a step away from making a breakthrough. All of the metals are formed by the metal Yuan Qi. But some of them are extremely hard to destroy, while some of them are just scrap metal that can be easily broken. This is caused by the different arrangement of the metal Yuan Qi. As long as I can understand some of the rules, it will not be too hard for me to make a breakthrough in my metal profound. Yi Chen calmed down and started to learn the metal profound. Half a month later, a sharp golden light shone from Yi Chen's body. His whole body seemed like a sharp great sword that could pierce through people. My metal profound has finally reached 90% completion. Standing on top of a mountain, Yi Chen could feel that the metal Yuan Qi in the surroundings was very friendly to him. He could easily control it, and compared to before, it was much easier to control. Cut. Raising his right hand, Yi Chen threw out a palm attack. Swoosh. The black crescent-shaped sword energy flashed past, and more than a dozen mountains were cut in half. Nothing could stop this sword energy. 90% metal profound and 60% water profound. The power of waning moon is indeed a lot stronger. What a pity, if only the water profound was raised to 90% as well. With the two fusing together, the power of the waning moon would be doubled. Without worrying too much, Yi Chen did not expect to comprehend many profounds to completion before Life and Death Realm. What he needed now was accumulation. The higher the realm of the profounds, the more complete they would be after reaching Life and Death Realm, which would save him a lot of effort. Another half a month passed by. During this time, Yi Chen had only casually forged 2 upper-rank swords, and spent the rest of the time on increasing his power. Although it was just a casual process, Yi Chen had trained his mid-rank sword forging art to perfection. The upper-rank swords he forged were all mid-rank, not bad at all. On top of the mountain, Yi Chen waved his sword, causing the space to twist. Sometimes, it was like a frozen mirror, and other times, it shattered. The power of space spread out in all directions, looking extremely frightening. What's going on? Putting away his sword, Yi Chen spread out his soul power, spreading it to the headquarters of the school. On the huge plaza in front of the main hall, a group of people were confronting 3 youngsters. These 3 youngsters were 2 males and 1 female. The man standing next to the girl was about 25 or 26 years old, wearing black robes. He had a handsome face, and his arrogance and disdain were not hidden at all. The girl standing next to him was very pretty. Although she was not as pretty as Murong Qingqing, she was still a rare beauty. Her eyes were extremely attractive, like precious stones. The young man in blue robes behind the 2 was even more shocking. His cultivation was unfathomable, and he stood with his hands behind his back, looking very calm. On the side of the school, the leader was Gao Ziyuan. Looking at the girl next to the handsome young man, a painful expression flashed through Gao Ziyuan's face. After a while, he said slowly, "What are you doing here? Are you laughing at me?" The pretty girl studied him and said, "I did not expect you to reach peak level mid-sea of Soul's realm already. It is really out of my expectation. Unfortunately, staying in the school has already sealed your future. Even if you manage to become a half-step king warrior, your youth will be gone." "So what? Plus, I believe that the school will rise again. Within this 1 month, Gao Ziyuan had already reached peak level mid-Sea of Soul's realm from early Sea of Soul's realm. It was all thanks to the Zhenyuan crystals that Yi Qin had given him. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to reach this fast with only top-rank spirit stones. Don't lie to yourself. Of course, how you are right now has nothing to do with me anymore. I just do not want to see you fall further. The pretty girl shook her head. Sister Li, who are these 3 people? The disciples of the school had not gone down the mountain for a long time, so they did not know who they were. So, they could only ask Li Chui, who had seen a lot of things. Li Chui said, the one in black is the martial genius of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, Yun Xiaoshui. The one in blue is the #1 martial genius of the school, Ling Hui. And that girl is Brother Gao's ex-fiancée, Mo Xiao. Then, she pressed her lips together and looked at Gao Ziyuan worriedly. What? Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui? All of the disciples were shocked. Ling Hui was the #1 martial genius of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, and he had reached half-step King Warrior a couple of years ago. He was one of the top 3 half-step King Warriors in the school. Although Yun Xiaoshui was not a half-step King Warrior, he was still a powerful master-level Sea of Soul's Realm Warrior. In other words, in the whole school, besides the great Master Lu, no one would be able to compete with Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui. I heard from Xiaotang that you are very talented. You had already learned the sword intent when you were only 16, and it was a special kind of sword intent. I think it is just SOS. Yun Xiaoshui, who was in black, purposely hugged Mo Xiaotang as he looked at Gao Ziyuan sarcastically. Gao Ziyuan's face twitched, but soon he calmed down again. The past was over, and Mo Xiaotang had already cancelled the engagement with him. There was no longer any relationship between them, and he had already decided to give up on her. Taking a deep breath, he said lightly, "Power is not something that can be seen." "Oh, it seems like you are very confident in yourself." Yun Xiaoshui cracked a smile, looking a bit evil. Although he was walking with Mo Xiaotang, he could tell that she had not forgotten about Gao Ziyuan, which annoyed him a lot. This time, it was his idea to come to the school. He wanted to beat Gao Ziyuan up in front of Mo Xiaotang and let her know who the real martial genius was. Chapter 8:32. Within the conference hall, the great elder of the inner sect asked Li Zhangfeng worriedly, "Master, should we head over to stop them?" Li Zhangfeng said, "This is a matter between the younger generation. Don't go and cause trouble for now. If we go, it won't be easy to resolve. Actually, it would be useless for them to go, since Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui's power was not something they could handle. Of course, if it really came to that, they would have to go even if they did not want to. As the leader of the school, they had to protect the school's dignity. But Ziyuan should not be Yun Xiaoshui's opponent. He had just broken through to the peak of mid-Sea of Soul Realm. If they had come a few months later, it would have been great. The head elder did not doubt Gao Ziyuan's talent at all, but this Yun Xiaoshui was not easy to deal with either. With the gap of 1 realm, Gao Ziyuan's chance of winning was not high. We have to believe in Ziyuan. In recent years, he has rarely revealed his strength. Li Zhangfeng had quite a bit of confidence in Gao Ziyuan. If he could escape from Yun Xiaoshui's hands, it would be the best result. If he could even fight to a draw, then the school would definitely gain a lot of face. On Grand Supreme Elder's mountain peak, Yi Qin asked curiously, "Why didn't Elder Lu show up?" The next moment, Yi Qin came to a realization. Back then, when Master Lu targeted him, it was because he did not hide his cultivation at all, which was why Master Lu could sense it. Right now, Ling Hui did not expose any qi, so naturally, Master Lu would not be able to sense it. Although Master Lu was not in his right mind, he still cared about the school subconsciously. Gao Ziyuan's qi is not weak at all. Battling with this Yun Xiaoshui, it is not like he has no chance of winning. It all depends on his profound sense. Alright, he has also learned a special sword intent. I wonder what kind of sword intent it is? As these thoughts flashed through his mind, Yi Qin continued to use his soul power to observe the people on the main peaks plaza. "Since you are so confident, how about we spar? Don't worry, I will not kill you." Yun Xiaoshui licked his lips and suggested. Gao Ziyuan agreed right away. He was sure that if he didn't agree, the other party would definitely not let the matter rest. Since it was like that, it was better to fight him once. Senior brother Gao, be careful. Li Chui reminded her from behind. Senior brother Gao, you must defeat him. Wu Changxing did not have many scruples and directly shouted from the back. I know. Gao Ziyuan looked very serious and sharp. After reaching peak level mid-sea of Soul's realm, he had experienced the one with the world, and all of his profound had improved. However, Yun Xiaoshui had one more experience, so his profound comprehension might not be weaker than his. Perhaps, it might even be above him. The only advantage he had would be his sword intent, which would give him a sliver of hope. No matter what, he was still a powerful Sea of Soul's realm master-level warrior. Seeing that the two were about to battle, Mo shouting revealed a relieved expression. She took a step back and glanced at Yun Xiaoshui, but she looked at Gao Ziyuan for a longer time. Ziyun, I hope you don't blame me. Mo Xiaotang thought. On the plaza, everyone took a few steps back, creating a huge space for the two. Gao Ziyuan and Yun Xiaoshui stood 100 steps away from each other. Take this. Yun Xiaoshui did not have time to waste with Gao Ziyuan. He wanted to beat Gao Ziyuan in the shortest time possible and step on him. His body flashed once, and his body shot out like flowing water. In the middle of his body, he tightened his right fist, which shone with a black halo. The space seemed to be vibrating a little, and with a slight twist, he threw out a punch toward Gao Ziyuan's head. Earth crack? Clang. The sword was unsheathed. Gao Ziyuan shouted in a low voice and leaned his body forward. The dark yellow sword in his hand turned into a blazing sword light. The inside of the sword light vibrated violently, giving people a heavy and overbearing impression. Boom. The two wanted to test each other's power, so their first attack was a head-on clash. An explosive-like chi flow spread out with the two as the center. A thick layer of the plaza's ground was shaved off, and cracks spread out like spider webs. In the next second, the two backed out at the same time. Yun Xiaoshui backed out 10 steps while Gao Ziyuan backed out 7. Senior brother Gao has the upper hand. The disciples of the Zhang Tian martial school yelled out. No, it is Yun Xiaoshui who has the upper hand. A peak-level late astral-reaching realm core disciple shook his head, looking serious. Why do you say that? Senior brother Gao had only backed out 7 steps, but Yun Xiaoshui had backed out 10. Judging from the situation, senior brother Gao indeed has the upper hand. But Yun Xiaoshui did not use any martial arts, only normal attacks. With that, everyone understood, and they could not help but worry for Gao Ziyuan. He is indeed at peak level late Sea of Soul's realm. Even with my earth profound martial art, I only managed to get a slight upper hand. Gao Ziyuan did not dare to be careless, so he stared at Yun Xiaoshui without blinking. Ha! Justice, take another attack of mine. Yun Xiaoshui laughed out loud as he jumped toward Gao Ziyuan again. A powerful thunder light gathered on his fist, which was then thrown out like a thunder. So fast! Gao Ziyuan had mastered 2 kinds of profound, one being the earth profound and the other the fire profound. This time, he had performed the fire profound sword art, which was like an exploding flame with an extremely powerful explosive power. It had barely blocked out Yun Xiaoshui's fist. Pap! The thunder light shone brightly, and Gao Ziyuan's whole body was blown away, while Yun Xiaoshui's body only shook a little. Thunder light step. Stepping on the thunder light, Yun Xiaoshui chased after Gao Ziyuan like a lightning bolt. Sky Thunder 18 Fist. From dozens of steps away, Yun Xiaoshui kept throwing out punches. The fist light was like a rainbow, like the sky thunder. One after another, it was unbelievably fast. After taking on 15 punches, Gao Ziyuan had already puked out blood. Yun Xiaoshui's comprehensive ability was not that much weaker than his, and his cultivation was higher than his as well. Therefore, he was destined to lose. Fall to the ground. The 16th punch was Yun Xiaoshui's expression as he threw out another punch toward Gao Ziyuan's stomach. He was planning to use this punch to ruin Gao Ziyuan, turning him into a piece of trash who could not train anymore. Only then would he be able to make Mo Xiaotang give up on him completely. Yun Xiaoshui, didn't you say that you would not wound him badly? Mo Xiaotang suddenly yelled. Yun Xiaoshui did not care at all. His fist aura was horrifying. Burning flame soared. At that critical moment, Gao Ziyuan performed his most powerful fire and earth profound sword art, blocking out Yun Xiaoshui's attack with one sword attack. You have blocked it out. But let's see how you are going to block this one. Yun Xiaoshui's 17th punch was coming, which was even more horrifying than the 16th one. No! Just when Yun Xiaoshui was about to attack Gao Ziyuan, Emo Xiaotang suddenly made her move. She waved her hand and 3 iron pear flowers shot out, covering Yun Xiaoshui in a triangle shape. If Yun Xiaoshui continued to attack Gao Ziyuan without caring about anything else, he would be attacked by the flowers as well, which would injure him badly. Ha! A sharp light flashed through Ling Hui's eyes. An air-piercing sound came from his back, and Yun Xiaoshui's expression changed drastically. His body flashed once, dodging the incoming attack. Of course, he had also lost the chance to attack Gao Ziyuan. Xiaotang, what are you doing? Yun Xiaoshui's face turned green. Emo Xiaotang did not reply. She walked toward Gao Ziyuan with determination and stood in front of him. What are you trying to do? Yun Xiaoshui had a bad feeling. Brother Yun, can't you see it? She is playing with you. Ling Hui suddenly said, Playing with me? Yun Xiaoshui looked at Emo Xiaotang in disbelief as he said with a low voice, Xiang, get out of the way. Get out of the way now, and I will pretend that nothing has happened. Don't force me. Emo Xiaotang shook her head with determination. Bastard. Head disciple is telling the truth. You have never liked me. You have been lying to me all this time. Seeing that Emo Xiaotang was not going to get out of the way, Yun Xiaoshui yelled. Out of Gao Ziyuan's expectation, Emo Xiaotang actually admitted it. Yun Xiaoshui, I have indeed never liked you, because I only like Ziyuan. Being with you is just to provoke him, to make him leave the school and become stronger. This time, Yun Xiaoshui coming to the school was actually Emo Xiaotang's plan. She had been talking about Gao Ziyuan's talent and comprehensive ability in front of Yun Xiaoshui. She had figured out Yun Xiaoshui's personality and thought that as proud as he would definitely come for Gao Ziyuan. By then, with Yun Xiaoshui's power, he would be able to beat Gao Ziyuan, who would not be able to keep up with his cultivation. Then he would be able to make Gao Ziyuan wake up and leave the school. Hearing Emo Xiaotang's words, Yun Xiaoshui finally understood. No wonder this woman had approached him on her own accord, but did not get too close to him. It turned out that she had never liked him in the first place, and was only using him to provoke Gao Ziyuan. Shouting, Gao Ziyuan looked at Emo Xiaotang in shock. Emo Xiaotang looked at Gao Ziyuan softly. Ziyuan, since the first time I saw you when I was 13, I fell in love with you. With each passing year, I fell in love with you more and more. How could I be so cruel and leave you to be with someone else? I did not want to see such a genius like you being dragged down by the school and turned into a mediocre person. You should not live a normal life. You should be able to dominate the world. As for me, I do not care about the fame and glory, I just want to watch you silently. Then why don't you let him beat me completely? Then I might leave the school and try my best to increase my power. Gao Ziyuan said. Emo Xiaotang forced a smile. I thought I could control my emotions, but I realized that I could not. The moment you were in danger, the only thought in my mind was to stop him at all costs. With Yun Xiaoshui's cruelty, even if he did not kill Gao Ziyuan, he would still be crippled, which was not what Emo Xiaotang wanted to see. She had only hoped that Yun Xiaoshui could beat Gao Ziyuan, not cripple him. So cunning but so affectionate. Yi Chen, who had seen everything, sighed. Chapter 8:33. Emo shouting, You bitch! How dare you lie to me? Do you know what kind of price you will have to pay for lying to me? Yun Xiaoshui was furious to the extreme. Growing up, he had always been the center of attention. Even when he was in the extreme heaven martial school, even with Ling Hui's support, he was still favored. In his opinion, the reason why Emo Xiaotang was nice to him was because he was good enough. But today, what she had said had undoubtedly humiliated him. He swore that he would destroy this woman. Yun Xiaoshui, if you have any problems, come at me. Gao Ziyuan could feel Yun Xiaoshui's anger and killing intent, so he stood out. Do not worry. I will beat you into a cripple and make you a useless person for the rest of your life." As he spoke, Yun Xiaoshui's Zhenyuan had been pushed to its limit. That black demonic Zhenyuan shot up into the sky, looking extremely powerful. "This is the Zhang Tian martial school. Do not be presumptuous." Li Zhangfeng and the other masters walked out. Yun Xiaoshui wanted to cripple Gao Ziyuan, so they could not just sit and watch. Otherwise, there would be no need for the Zhang Tian martial school to exist anymore. Presumptuous? So what? Ling Hui sneered as his sharp eyes landed on Li Zhangfeng. "Ling Hui, did you forget about that master's order? No one is allowed to attack the school. Are you trying to go against the order?" Ling Hui said, "I knew you would bring him out. Unfortunately, my brother disciple is only here to compete, so it is not like he is going against the order. But of course, swords do not have eyes. If there are some injuries, it would be a different story. I hope you guys do not interfere. Otherwise, I would not mind teaching you a lesson." Hearing Ling Hui, Li Zhangfeng and the rest of them looked extremely pale. "Master Tai, please go and ask Master Lu. Master Xiao, please go and ask Master Yi." Li Zhangfeng knew that he was not Ling Hui's opponent, who was extremely talented and had reached the top-rank half-step king warrior realm. In his opinion, Yi Chen might be able to compete with Ling Hui, but in order to suppress him, he would need Master Lu's help. "Do not go and ask me. I have already understood the situation here." Wrapped in true Yuan, Yi Chen's voice turned into a line that entered Li Changfeng's ears. Then Yi Chen said, "Gao Ziyuan is about to make a breakthrough. If he manages to reach Late Sea of Soul's realm, he might be able to take on Yun Xiaoshui. So, do not do anything reckless for now." "Ziyuan is facing a breakthrough?" Li Zhangfeng looked at Gao Ziyuan in surprise and said to the two elders beside him, "Wait." Right then, Gao Ziyuan's Zhenyuan was boiling, exploding with an aura that was way beyond the peak level of Mid-Sea of Soul's realm. Moreover, this aura kept on increasing, seeming to have no limit. Under this aura, Gao Ziyuan's eyes were getting brighter and brighter, like two bright lamps shooting out a bright light. Gao Ziyuan's training talent was not weaker than Yun Xiaoshui's at all. The reason why he was increasing his cultivation so slowly was because of the lack of resources in the school. Not only did they lack spirit stones, but they also lacked other resources that could help with training. In this situation, it was naturally impossible for him to be like Yun Xiaoshui, who had already reached peak level Late Sea of Soul's realm. However, after Yi Chen came, the situation had changed. The school had not only solved the problem of spirit stones temporarily, but Gao Ziyuan had also gotten 10 Zhenyuan crystals. Using 3 of them, he had increased his cultivation from peak level Early Sea of Soul's realm to peak level Mid Sea of Soul's realm. Unfortunately, there was still not enough time for him to do it, since it would not be easy for him to keep on making breakthroughs. Life was always full of drama, and Mo shouting had always been a thorn in Gao Ziyuan's heart. It was impossible for him to forget her just like that. Even if he said that he had forgotten about her, the heartache that flashed through his mind in the middle of the night would be something that no one could understand. After Mo Xiaotang had confessed, Gao Ziyuan's mental state had been completely cleared up. No matter if he was training the demon arts or the righteous arts, as long as he had a clear mental state, he would be able to reach a higher level. There was no such thing as good people getting rewarded and bad people getting struck by lightning. With his mental state cleared up, Gao Ziyuan was full of energy. His condition had never been better. The invisible bottleneck in front of him had loosened up right then, melting like snow in spring. Right then, the potential that Gao Ziyuan had burst out was even more powerful than before. "You want a breakthrough? Dream on." Yun Xiaoshui suddenly threw out a punch toward Gao Ziyuan. "Despicable!" The disciples of the school yelled, but they could not stop it in time. "Yun Xiaoshui, don't you feel ashamed?" Mo Xiaotang pushed her hands forward, and countless iron pear flowers shot out from her sleeves. The densely packed flowers shot out, and the sound of xiu 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 could be heard continuously. "You are looking for death." Yun Xiaoshui could not bear to see Mo Xiaotang protecting Gao Ziyuan the most, so he threw out a fist power that was covered in dark thunder. "Pear flower shield." Mo Xiaotang did not back out even half a step. She drew half a circle with her left and right hands before touching them together. All of a sudden, a massive Zhenyuan pear flower wrapped around her body. This Zhenyuan pear flower obviously contained a huge amount of wood profound and a trace of water profound. Boom! The Zhenyuan pear flower was shattered, and Emo shouting puked out a mouthful of blood. Her cultivation was only at late sea of Soul's realm, which was a couple of times weaker than Yun Xiaoshui. Her profound was not as deep as his as well, so it was natural that she would not be able to block out that angry attack. It was already quite impressive that she was able to stand it. Do you really think that I would not dare to kill you? Yun Xiaoshui was furious. Emo Xiaotang had challenged his bottom line again and again, which made him want to kill her. Xiaoing, let me do it. Right then, the qi on Gao Ziyuan's body calmed down and stopped rising. His Zhenyuan vibration was at late sea of Soul's realm. Even if you have made a breakthrough, so what? The result will not change. Although Yun Xiaoshui did not want to see Gao Ziyuan reach the late sea of Soul's realm, he would not be worried if he did. In his opinion, Gao Ziyuan's Zhenyuan would not be that stable when he had just made a breakthrough, and the state of being one with the world would not be over yet. So, his power would not increase too much. Just like Yun Xiaoshui had said, Gao Ziyuan's Zhenyuan had indeed not stabilized yet. But just then, his fire profound had broken through a bottleneck. It was mainly because his fire profound had already been on the verge of a breakthrough before, and this time, it would not take him much time to comprehend it. You be careful. Emo Xiaotang reminded him. I will. Gao Ziyuan gave Emo Xiaotang a smile before staring at Yun Xiaoshui. Backing out into the crowd, Emo Xiaoing looked at the two and frowned slightly. Yun Xiaoshui attacked first. It was the Sky Thunder 18 Fist art that had blown Gao Ziyuan away before. Countless thunder and lightning fist shadows flashed through the air. Lifting up his sword, Gao Ziyuan broke 16 fist arts in a row. 17th fist art. Yun Xiaoshui roared as his thunder fist shadow turned into a thunder dragon, attacking toward Gao Ziyuan with its claws and fangs. It was as fast as lightning. Burning flame sword. Gao Ziyuan jumped into the air and threw out a sword attack. Swoosh! The thunder dragon's head was cut off, but the sword chi did not disappear completely as it attacked toward Yun Xiaoshui's chest. What kind of sword chi is this? Yun Xiaoshui did not manage to throw out his 18th fist art before he was forced to back out. Gao Ziyuan's fire sword chi was way tougher than he had expected. It was hard to destroy. Not only had it broken through his 17th fist art, but the remaining sword chi still had more than half of its original power. It is indeed the immortal sword intent. No one knew when, but Yi Chen was standing on top of the palace. But no one there could see him, since he had perfectly blended into the shadows of the roof. Without careful observation, even half-step king warriors would not be able to see him. It was indeed the uniqueness of the shadow profound. Just like Yi Chen, Gao Ziyuan had also learned the immortal sword intent. But of course, he would not be able to compete with Yi Chen, since Yi Chen had also learned the destruction sword intent, as well as the slaughter sword intent that had been infused into it. But no matter what, the power of the immortal sword intent was still not something normal sword intent could compare with. It was an extremely powerful sword intent that could be used both offensively and defensively. Dark Light Thunder Dragon Fist. The Sky Thunder 18 Fist art needed time to store up power. Without that, the 18th fist art would not be as powerful as the 17th one. Therefore, Yun Xiaoshui changed his martial art immediately and threw out a fist art that contained the Water Profound and Thunder Profound. The fire sword chi was extinguished, and the thick water chi attacked toward Gao Ziyuan's face. Strings of thunder and lightning followed the path of the water chi and landed on Gao Ziyuan's body first, making all of his hair stand up. His body was paralyzed and he could not use any of his power anymore. At the same time, a huge black lightning dragon roared and charged at Gao Ziyuan. Gao Ziyuan's body was burnt black, and a huge amount of blood leaked out of the corner of his mouth. Under Yun Xiaoshui's shocked gaze, he tore apart the dark thunder dragon and flew over at an extreme speed. Impossible! How can he still have battling power? Yun Xiaoshui was shocked, and his reaction slowed down a bit. Only Yi Chen and Ling Hui could tell that Gao Ziyuan had forcefully pushed his Zhenyuan at that critical moment, not caring about the side effects, and forcefully shattered Yun Xiaoshui's ace attack. Of course, he had paid a huge price as well. His meridians were almost all broken, and his Jin Yuan was messed up. Right then, he was only holding on with his last breath to attack Yun Xiaoshui. "Brother Yun, what are you doing?" Ling Hui could not just watch Gao Ziyuan beat Yun Xiaoshui. Although he was reminding Yun Xiaoshui, he was actually using his sound wave to attack Gao Ziyuan secretly. Although the sound wave from a half-step king warrior would not be able to kill a late Sea of Souls realm warrior, it would definitely affect him. Gao Ziyuan was not going to be affected like that. Puking out a mouthful of blood, a determined look flashed through Gao Ziyuan's eyes. He used his last bit of power and threw out a sword attack toward Yun Xiaoshui. "You are looking for death." Ling Hui was furious as he flicked out his finger. Unfortunately, Ling Hui's finger power did not work. A thin sword chi broke through his finger power. Without being stopped, Gao Ziyuan's last sword attack naturally landed on Yun Xiaoshui's body, blowing him away. He puked out a huge amount of blood while his body was covered in flames. "Who are you? Get the fuck down!" Ling Hui yelled at the top of the palace. His half-step king warrior aura shot out into the sky, changing the weather above the mountains. Chapter 8:34. Since it is a battle between your brother disciple and our Zhang Tian martial school's disciple, why are you interfering? On top of the palace, a shadow moved and turned into a young man in blue robes. It was indeed Yi Chen. He sneered as his body flashed and appeared in the middle of the plaza. "It is Master Yi. Master Yi is here." The Zhang Tian martial school's disciples let out a breath of relief. Ling Hui had given them too much pressure. No one knew how powerful a genius half-step king warrior could be. Only other half-step king warriors of the same level would be able to fight against him. Without a doubt, Yi Chen was at the same level as Ling Hui. "Who are you? I have never heard of you before. Is there a second half-step king warrior in the school?" Ling Hui saw that Yi Chen was even younger than him, so he controlled his killing intent and asked coldly, "I am sorry, but I am the new great master of the school." Yi Chen could sense that Ling Hui's cultivation was the same as his, both high-rank half-step king warriors. But judging from his aura, he seemed to be even more powerful than the Dark Light King. "Great master of the school?" Ling Hui frowned. Where did the school find such a young half-step king warrior? Was it a secret training? Impossible. Even if it was, he would not be able to escape the surveillance of the top 3 martial schools. Then, there would only be one explanation. This person had come to the school from somewhere else, so he should have some kind of connection with the school. Perhaps they did not tell you about the school's situation. I advise you to leave the school immediately. Otherwise, you will regret coming here. Ling Hui was not in a hurry to attack. Yi Chen's cultivation was the same as his, so it would not be easy for him to beat him. I naturally know about the school's situation. But, since I have become the great master of the school, I will not allow outsiders to humiliate it. It does not matter if it is the Extreme Heaven Martial School, the Bald Eagle Valley, or the Earth Bear family, none of them will do it. Hearing him, Ling Hui laughed out of extreme anger. He had already given a lot of face to Yi Chen, but he did not expect the latter to not only ignore him, but also look down on the top 3 martial schools. "It seems like you will not give up until you are in your grave." Ling Hui squinted his eyes as his killing intent spread out. "Bastard from the Extreme Heaven sect, take this." All of a sudden, a stream of sword chi swept over from the side of the mountain, where Master Lu and Yi Chen lived. One on the left and the other on the right, guarding the main peak of the school. It was Elder Lu who had unleashed the sword chi. Although Master Lu had lost his mind and could not tell who was who, he was very familiar with the Demi-King Chi of the 3 martial schools. The Extreme Heaven Martial School was a demonic martial school, and the Extreme Heaven Demon art was their most powerful martial art. Ling Hui had trained this martial art, so he was naturally marked with the symbol of the Extreme Heaven Martial School. Therefore, once Master Lu sensed that chi, he immediately yelled out and threw out a powerful sword attack. Courting death. Ling Hui clenched his right fist and punched forward. The sword chi that Master Lu had thrown out was shattered by the fist power and disappeared in the wind. However, the remaining power of the fist power still clashed onto Master Lu's protective Zhenyuan layer, blowing him backward. Ling Hui still wanted to attack and wound Master Lu badly, but Yi Chen had already taken out his sword. Once it was out of the scabbard, that sharp sword intent attacked toward Ling Hui like a destructive tornado. It made it impossible for him to focus on dealing with Master Lu at all. He had a feeling that if he was even a little bit careless, he would pay for it immediately. Destruction sword intent. No wonder you are so arrogant. Ling Hui's eyes froze. Gao Ziyuan having the immortal sword intent was already out of his expectation, but he did not care about it at all. However, Yi Chen's destruction sword intent was definitely not something that Gao Ziyuan could compete with. It might have already reached the peak of rank 4, or even rank 5. Moreover, in terms of attacking power, the destruction sword intent was better than the immortal sword intent. But having a high sword intent does not mean that one's power is high as well. Demon Wind God Fist. Stepping out with his right foot, Ling Hui's right arm turned into countless afterimages. That dark black fist wind attacked toward Yi Chen. That fist wind contained the wind profound and the dark profound. It was like a dark tornado, attacking toward Yi Chen with a shocking aura. Back out. With the evil shattering sword in his hand, Yi Chen waved it up. That crescent-like black sword power tore apart the black fist wind and went against the flow. Not good. Yi Chen's sword attack was way too powerful. Ling Hui had a feeling that his protective Zhenyuan would not be able to block out that sword power at all. A black shadow flashed once, and Ling Hui flew into the sky. After losing its target, the black sword power shot out in a straight line for a long time before disappearing. Demon Wind Heaven Cry. Ling Hui was about to perform the last movement of his Demon Wind God Fist art. But before he could finish, Yi Chen had already appeared in front of him. It was like he had teleported. Without a choice, Ling Hui threw out a punch onto Yi Chen's evil shattering sword. His whole body was blown into the sky, and he was now only a black dot on the main peak of the school. How come he is so fast? Ling Hui was shocked. This place should not affect the main peak of the school anymore. In the sky, Yi Chen and Ling Hui stood facing each other for miles. The evil shattering sword in his hand shone with a sharp sword light. Who the hell are you? The power that Yi Chen had displayed had shocked Ling Hui. Although he was not one of the life and death realm warriors in the Blood Sky Lands waiting list, he thought that some of them might not be able to compete with him. He was only born a couple of years later, and had never entered the life and death secret realm before. Who I am is not important. What is important is that you better go back and tell the Extreme Heaven Martial School not to humiliate themselves. Yi Chen said. Arrogant. You really think you can beat me? Ling Hui yelled as he pushed his Zhenyuan to its limit. The gloves on his hands shone with a powerful halo. These gloves were a pair of pseudo-extreme rank gloves that Ling Hui had obtained by chance. With these gloves, he dared to take on Yi Chen's attacks head-on. Master Yi had forced back the #1 martial genius of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, Ling Hui? So powerful! What is this Master Yi's background? Although everyone in the Zhang Tian Martial School knew that Yi Chen was related to the Battle King, no one knew about Yi Chen's background. They were very curious about Yi Chen, because with Yi Chen's talent and power, he would not be a nobody in the place he was from. He might be a powerful warrior. On the plaza, Master Lu and Li Zhangfeng stood together. He did not attack Ling Hui without caring about anything like last time, because the battle between Yi Chen and Ling Hui was too intense for him to get involved. Although his mind was not clear, he still had his instincts. You guys, take Ziyuan away and let him rest. Li Zhangfeng ordered a couple of attendants to take Gao Ziyuan away as he stared at the sky without blinking. Ling Hui was not that easy to beat. Right now, they could only rely on Yi Chen. If Yi Chen could not even beat Ling Hui, then the future of the Zhang Tian Martial School would not be any better. Chapter 8:35. Ting, 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 ting. The bright light kept flashing in the sky as Yi Chen and Ling Hui started to exchange attacks at an extremely fast speed. Both of them were martial geniuses who had been through hundreds of battles. The intensity of the battle could not be described with just attacking power, but also speed, experience, and their battling talents. Demon Wind Heaven Cry. This time, Ling Hui successfully performed the last movement of his Demon Wind God Fist art. This movement combined the wind profound and the dark profound even better. Throwing out a punch, the dark tornado made a loud noise, and one could vaguely hear a crying sound, as if even the sky itself was crying. He is indeed more powerful than the Dark Light King. The Dark Light King was too old, and normally he would not be able to step into the life and death challenge. But he had. However, judging on power, he was not as powerful as Ling Hui, and definitely not as powerful as the Thunder Spirit King. Among the top half-step King warriors, the Thunder Spirit King was the most horrifying one that Yi Chen had ever met. Without using his Sky Scorpio sword and the Yuan Emperor's image, Yi Chen did not have the confidence to beat the Thunder Spirit King. Facing Ling Hui's extremely powerful fist attack, Yi Chen did not try to dodge at all. Instead, he threw out an attack with his evil shattering sword, and a beautiful black moon appeared in the midair. Compared to Yi Chen's waning moon, Ling Hui's Demon Wind Heaven Cry was still a lot weaker. The second the two clashed, the incoming fist wind was sliced open layer by layer. It could not be stopped at all. Ling Hui was so shocked that he threw out a couple of punches before he could cancel out this sword attack. However, Yi Chen's follow-up attack had arrived. A sword light flashed in the midair as Yi Chen suddenly appeared in front of Ling Hui, stabbing out with his sword. Since the sword's speed was way too fast, it did not leave any trace, only leaving a hair-thin sword hole on Ling Hui's protective Zhenyuan layer. Clang! Sparks flew out from Ling Hui's chest as his whole body was blown backward for 3 miles, puking out a mouthful of blood mist. What kind of sword speed is this? Ling Hui felt a chill in his heart. He could barely see Yi Chen's movement pattern, but he could not sense Yi Chen's sword attack pattern at all. In the Blood Sky Land, it was not that he had not fought with those top young martial geniuses before. Among the life and death realm warriors, there were 1 or 2 of them who had fought with him, but none of them were as fast as Yi Chen. Lowering his head to look at his chest, Ling Hui's pupils shrank. The semi-extreme rank armor that he was wearing had a small hole in it, and it would have been pierced through completely. On the main plaza of the Zhang Tian Martial School, everyone could not help but gasp. The fact that Yi Chen was able to suppress Ling Hui was already shocking enough. However, compared to that sword attack just now, the waning moon, which had a much more powerful attacking power, had been ignored. For sword users, the speed of the sword attack would be even more shocking. Thinking about it, when 2 people were battling, one would not even move while the other had already thrown out a sword attack. How horrifying would that be? Master Yi is so powerful. Ling Hui is one of the most famous young martial geniuses in the Blood Sky Land, but he could not even get the upper hand. Yet, that sword attack just now had caught Ling Hui off guard. If only Master Yi could teach us how to throw out sword attacks faster. They naturally could not learn Yi Chen's spiritual sword unless they could learn the fast profound. However, no matter how good the sword art was, it would still require someone to perform it. Besides the sword art, Yi Chen's sword attack skills had indeed reached the peak of perfection. Even life and death realm warriors might not be able to do better than him. Do you still want to fight? Yi Chen did not plan to kill Ling Hui. The Iron Blood region was very complicated, and there was no need to go all out. After all, he could just leave, and the Zhang Tian Martial School would still be here. The result has not been decided yet. Don't be too happy yet. Ling Hui's face was extremely pale. Being wounded by someone who was even younger than him had made him lose all his face. At the same time, Yi Chen's power had shocked him deeply. He could not remember if there was someone like Yi Chen in the Blood Sky Land or the surrounding ocean. Yi Chen saw that Ling Hui did not plan to back out, so he knew that he still had some tricks up his sleeves. But he was not afraid either, since there were not many people below the life and death realm that could scare him. Perhaps he would run into 1 or 2 in the life and death secret realm. The evil shattering sword in Yi Chen's hand could no longer be seen. All that could be seen were countless tiny sword holes appearing in the air. These sword holes were just like the ace attack of the black-robed elder, which was able to leave a mark in the surreal space. The power of the spiritual sword was indeed not as powerful as the waning moon or the bewitching mirror shattering. But in terms of effect, it was not any weaker than the latter two. Once the sword's speed reached a certain level, unless one's defense was high enough, it would be impossible to escape. As for leaving a mark in the surreal space, it was because Yi Chen's sword intent was too powerful. The rank 5 destruction sword intent was equivalent to a normal rank 6 sword intent, which could already affect the structure of the space. If it were not for the fact that Yi Chen's Jin Yuan was slightly weaker and could not be used with his sword intent, he would be able to create a mental projection from millions of miles away with only his rank 5 destruction sword intent, which was something only life and death realm warriors could do. No matter how hard Ling Hui tried, he could not escape from Yi Chen's attack. That powerful sword intent was like a soul lock, locking him down. No matter how hard he struggled, he could not escape. He was like a bug in a spider's web, waiting to be slaughtered. Countless sword holes appeared on his semi-extreme rank armor as Ling Hui's face turned paler and paler. Blood mist kept puking out of his mouth. Still not leaving? Up until now, Yi Chen had only used 60 to 70% of his power. His opponent's cultivation was the same as his, so it was not worthy for him to use all of his power. All this time, he had been battling across realms. Even if he ran into the top young martial geniuses, it was still the same, not to mention Ling Hui. This time, the sword hole looked like it had pierced through the surreal space, drawing a black line in the air. It went through Ling Hui's chest and went through his body. The semi-extreme rank armor on Ling Hui's body was almost destroyed. He puked out a huge mouthful of blood, and he could feel that his life force had been taken away by that sword attack. There seemed to be a small sword hole on his spine as well, and that horrifying sword intent was attacking his bones. Yi Chen's power had reached an unimaginable level. Damn, you forced me to do this. Extreme Heaven Demon Body. Ling Hui's protective Jin Yuan suddenly shrunk, sticking to the surface of his skin. At first glance, his body seemed to have turned into a black metal, which did not look like a human body at all. Heaven Realm Martial Art? Yi Chen frowned. No, it does not seem to be perfect. Heaven Realm martial arts could not be passed down, so one could only learn it on their own. Although, there were some other ways to learn from it. But, the Heaven Realm martial arts that were learned would not be perfect after all. It would not be as good as Yi Chen's Green Lotus Sword spell that he had learned on his own, be it the basics or the special abilities. I am going to destroy you. Just as Yi Chen had expected, Ling Hui's extreme heaven demon body was indeed not learned by him. It was a life and death realm martial art created by a life and death realm warrior in the history of the Extreme Heaven Martial School. It was the same extreme heaven demon art, but the heaven realm martial arts would be different. But no matter which one it would be hard to learn from it. Since Ling Hui was able to learn it, it meant that he was very talented. The Extreme Heaven Demon body focused on stimulating the body's activity, increasing the body's reaction speed and other aspects. The Zhen Yuan usage would also reach a limit. It was just like a life and death realm warrior controlling the same amount of Zhen Yuan. Ling Hui's speed was a couple of times faster than before. It was even faster than Yi Chen's movement speed. Obviously, this Extreme Heaven Demon body had increased his power tremendously. Demon Wind Heaven Cry. The same movement was performed by Ling Hui right then, and it was even more powerful. Although the level of the profound had not increased, the Zhen Yuan usage had increased drastically. This is indeed a powerful Heaven Realm martial art. I wonder how the real Extreme Heaven Demon body would compare with the Battle King's Platinum Sword body. Yi Chen's expression did not change. If he wanted to, he could perform his Sword Realm right away and kill Ling Hui. Even without the Sword Realm, his bewitching mirror shatter would be able to wound him severely. However, it was not worth it for him to reveal too many of his trump cards. Break. Holding his sword with both of his hands, Yi Chen performed his sword art ace attack. Waning Moon. This time, it had an intense destruction element, which was the effect of Yi Chen infusing his destruction sword intent into his attack. A black waning moon flashed once in the midair, leaving behind a horrifying mark. Blood splashed everywhere. How did Ling Hui get here and how did he get back? On his chest, the semi-extreme rank armor had been completely cracked open. A blood-colored sword mark had almost pierced through his chest, and it was indeed where the blood came from. How is this possible? Ling Hui was blown away without any resistance, his face full of disbelief. The extreme heaven demon body was his biggest ace, and it was also what he had relied on to enter the life and death secret realm. It had been broken just like that, and it seemed like it had been done without any effort. How would he know that Yi Chen's power had already reached an unbelievable level? If he wanted to battle with him, if he did not have the upper hand in terms of cultivation, then there would be no chance of winning at all. Other martial geniuses would treat battling beyond their cultivation like eating and drinking, but Yi Chen treated it as the most basic thing. The two were not even on the same level. This is too powerful. Everyone from the Zhang Tian martial school had their eyes wide open. They did not have much experience, but they knew that no matter how much Ling Hui had increased his power, he was still like a toy in Yi Chen's hands. They were both martial geniuses, but the gap between them was way too huge. Slowly landing on the main plaza, Yi Chen put his sword back into its scabbard, looking normal. He did not look at Ling Hui, who had been hit by his full power sword attack. Without a couple of months of rest, he would not be able to return to his peak condition. That destruction sword intent alone would be enough to give him a headache. It was a sword intent that could destroy anything, and even life and death realm warriors would not be able to get rid of it. Slowly letting out a breath, Yi Chen looked into the sky. He did not know how much they had grown in this true spirit continent. With Duguju's potential, he should be a couple of times more powerful than Ling Hui, and Dantai Mingyue should be the same as well. And then there was that monster Chu Zhongtian. Yi Chen did not know how the other martial geniuses were, but on this true spirit continent he valued these three the most. Duguju had the despairing blade intent, and his power was only slightly weaker than Yi Chen's. Dantai Mingyue seemed to have gotten even more benefits from the four extreme emperor's grave than his space profound. Added with the fact that her talent was not weaker than Duguju's, her power was unpredictable. Chu Zhongtian was the worst in terms of comprehensive ability, not even in the top 20. But he had the evil spirit body, which was even more powerful than Yuan Emperor's body. Chapter 8:36. The wounded Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui left the school in a hurry. Mo Xiaotang was a disciple of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, so she followed them. Before she left, she asked someone to tell Gao Ziyuan that she would leave the Extreme Heaven Martial School and join the school. Yi Chen shook his head. He was afraid that he would have to deal with Mo Xiaotang again. Of course, if the Extreme Heaven Martial School could let her go, then it would be even better. After beating Ling Hui, Yi Chen had become a calming pill in everyone's mind. Everyone's depression had disappeared, and their spirits were lifted. In the past few years, the school had been humiliated way too much, and there had never been a day where they could vent their anger like today. Returning to his own mountain, Yi Chen cleared his mind and continued to train his profound and sword arts. Bewitching mirror shattering is already completed, and my waning moon has made some progress as well. Now I can spend more time on my spiritual sword. Since my fast profound has made progress, my slow profound should follow suit. The waning moon was focused on attacking, while the bewitching mirror shattering was a combination of sealing and attacking. Although the spiritual sword was not as powerful as the other two, it was still quite useful. If he ran into someone with the same power as him, then it might be able to play an important role. Extreme Heaven Martial School. Seeing Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui who had returned with severe wounds, the whole school was shocked. From the leader to the great master to the inner and outer disciples, everyone was shocked. Yun Xiaoshui had returned with severe wounds, since he was only at peak level late sea of Soul's realm. But Ling Hui was a real half-step king warrior, and his power had already reached the top half-step king warrior level. Who could wound him badly? Perhaps he had been attacked by a group of half-step king warriors? Inside the main palace of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, the leader and the great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School did not look good. They had already learned the reason from the two, and they could not believe that there would be a very young half-step king warrior that even Ling Hui would not be able to compete with. You have fought with him before. Do you know what level his power has reached? The great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School was a gray-haired elder. He had the back of a tiger and the waist of a bear. His eyes were like that of a wolf-eagle, very aggressive. He stared at Ling Hui and asked. Although Ling Hui was the head disciple of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, his position was no lower than the highest elder. He was only second to the leader. He had calmed down and said, I have fought with the Sky Tiger Master before. From what I can see, the Tiger Master is no match for him. Even young Master Tiger is no match for him. The leader of the Extreme Heaven Martial School was Ling Hui's second grandpa, named Ling Huho. After hearing Ling Hui's analysis, he frowned. The Sky Tiger Beast Martial School was one of the top 10 beast martial schools in the Blood Sky Land, and it was even more powerful than the Iron Foot Beast Martial School in the Iron Blood region. The Tiger Master from the Sky Tiger Beast Martial School was one of the top martial geniuses of the beast race. He had already reached the peak of the first level of the Life and Death Challenge, and was ranked 15th in the Life and Death Realm Substitute list. Ling Hui had fought with him last year, and his protective Jin Yuan layer had been broken by his claw attack. That's impossible. The Tiger Master did not use all of his power when he fought with you. The elder did not want to belittle Ling Hui, but the truth was the truth. Young Tiger Warrior was the descendant of the Sky Tiger race, and the Sky Tiger bloodline was very pure. Although it was not as pure as the Sky Tiger, it was still very scary. Plus, he was at the peak of the first Life and Death Challenge. His power was so scary that even two Ling Hui would not be his opponent. Ling Hui nodded. That is why I said that the Tiger Master would at most be on par with him. As a martial genius, Ling Hui had his pride. Losing to Yi Chen was indeed embarrassing for him, but it was not enough for him to deny Yi Chen's power. In his opinion, the Tiger Master might not even be as powerful as Yi Chen. And if he wanted to win against the Tiger Master and Yi Chen, he would have to increase his cultivation to the first level of the Life and Death Challenge. Ling Hui had been wounded very badly. After he finished talking, he puked out a mouthful of blood. You go and rest first. Ling Huho said with concern. Second uncle, I will go into closed-door training this time, all the way until the Life and Death Secret Realm begins. With such a serious injury, normal half-step king warriors would not be able to recover even after a couple of months. But Ling Hui had the support of the whole Extreme Heaven Martial School and enough resources, so he was confident that he could completely recover within a month. In the remaining time, he would try his best to reach the first level of the Life and Death Challenge. He had a feeling that this trip to the Life and Death Secret Realm would be the most powerful one he had ever experienced. The mountain peak was verdant and white clouds lingered around it. On the peak of the mountain, a blue figure stood motionless. The sword in his hand kept stabbing out, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Chi 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 chi. The flickering sword mark lingered in the void for a breath of time before disappearing. Not far away, Gao Ziyuan walked over step by step. Seeing Yi Chen practicing his swordsmanship, he quietly waited at the side with a curious look in his eyes. Leaving a mark in the surreal space. He is not far from breaking the space. Gao Ziyuan had a new understanding of Yi Chen's power. He was not an ignorant person, so he knew very well how hard it was to leave a mark in the surreal space, which meant that each of Yi Chen's sword attacks had the power to break the space. You are here. Yi Chen put his sword back into its scabbard and turned around. Greetings, Master Yi. Gao Ziyuan greeted with his hands. Yi Chen waved his hand. You and I are about the same age. No need to be so polite. He studied Gao Ziyuan. It seems like you have fully recovered, and your cultivation has reached peak level late seas of Soul's realm as well. You have improved a bit faster than I expected. This is all thanks to Master Ye's healing pellets and Jin Yuan crystals. After the battle with Yun Xiaoshui, Gao Ziyuan's meridians had almost been broken. Fortunately, Yi Chen did not have much, but he had a lot of rare treasures. He casually took out a couple of them and healed Gao Ziyuan's wounds completely in a short period of time. His cultivation had also reached peak level late seas of Soul's realm. I called you here because I want you to tell me about the young generation of the Blood Sky Land. There were still 2 months before the Life and Death Secret Realm would open, So Yichen needed to know about these people. Gao Ziyuan knew that the young generation that Yichen was talking about were the top martial geniuses below the age of 50, not the geniuses of the same age. After organizing his thoughts, Gao Ziyuan said, "In the Blood Sky Land, there are a total of 5 people who have entered the life and death realm substitute list. But that was 9 years ago. Right now, the most famous ones are the 8 Beast Warriors and the 4 Demons." 8 Beast Warriors and 4 Demons? Yi Chen's eyebrows flicked. Gao Ziyuan said, 8 Beast Warriors, 5 of them are beasts, 3 are demi-beasts, and the 4 demons, 1 is a demi-demon and 3 humans. Let's talk about the 8 Beast Warriors first. The leader of the 8 Beast Warriors is the Elephant Warrior from the Battle Elephant Martial School, ranked 3rd in the Life and Death Realm substitute list. He has the ancient Battle Elephant bloodline, and his godly power is unrivaled. Only with his physical power, not many people would be able to compete with him. I heard that his power had already reached over £1 million. Over £1 million? Indeed, not to be underestimated. Yichen could not help but think of Yan Fengfeng. She was also a beast among the 100 beasts, but her bloodline was the purest, the real Blue Phoenix bloodline. Although some of the other beasts had been passed down from generation to generation, their bloodline power was getting thinner and thinner, and it would be hard for them to have a pure bloodline descendant. It was something that could not be helped. Take the demi-beasts for example. There were hundreds of billions of demi-beasts in the Blood Sky Land, but the ones that had formed families were probably not even 1,000th of them. The rest of them had already become normal people with only a trace of demi-beast bloodline, which made them no different from humans. There were very few demi-beast family members in the true spirit continent, but there were at least billions of them. In fact, there was not much difference between demi-beasts and humans anymore. For the most normal demi-beasts, it would not be wrong to call them human. Being able to become the leader of the 8 Beast Warriors, the ancient Battle Elephant bloodline must be very close to his ancestors. Plus, Yichen knew that the beasts could use their own talents and special methods to go back to their ancestors. Once they succeeded, they would be the one and only member of the 100 beasts, without any other bloodline. The second of the 8 Beast Warriors is the Snake Warrior. He is a disciple of the Demi-Beast family, and his 9-headed snake bloodline has been completely awakened. He is ranked 7th in the Life and Death Realm substitute list. He is the arch-enemy of the Elephant Warrior, and they have been fighting for decades. But there is a 9-headed snake family in the Blood Sky Land as well? Yichen froze. He had trained 2 members of the 9-headed snake family, Wang Snake and Wang Mei. Wang Snake had also almost awakened his 9-headed snake bloodline, but his cultivation was still a bit lacking. He did not expect that the 9-headed snake family in the true spirit continent would be destroyed, but there was still another one in the Blood Sky Land. This 9-headed snake family might be more than 100 times more powerful than the one in the true spirit continent, since Wang Snake's family was only a rank 9 family. The third is the Eagle Warrior. He did not enter the Life and Death Realm substitute list, and is a beast genius who has appeared in the recent years. The fourth is the Tiger Warrior, ranked 23rd in the Life and Death Realm substitute list. He is a beast genius from the Sky Tiger Martial School. The remaining 4 Beast Warriors are not ranked in any particular order. They are the Shark Warrior, the Leopard Lady, the Wolf Warrior, and the Butterfly Lady. The first 2 are beasts, while the latter 2 are demi-beasts. They are all very powerful, just like the Eagle Warrior. They are all martial geniuses who have appeared in the recent years. Hearing him, Yichen nodded. The previous generation of young martial geniuses in the Blood Sky Land should be the 5 who had entered the Life and Death Realm substitute list. The remaining 7 had appeared in the recent years, just like his generation in the true spirit continent. Master Yi, I cannot tell your power at all. But in my opinion, among the 8 Beast Warriors, only the Elephant Warrior and the Snake Warrior are worthy of your attention. The rest should not be your opponent. Ling Hui was one of the 4 demons, which were just as famous as the 8 Beast Warriors. If even Ling Hui was not an opponent for Yichen, then it was not hard to imagine that among the 8 Beast Warriors and the 4 demons, there would not be many who could compete with Yichen. With that thought in mind, Gao Ziyuan was very curious about Yi Chen's identity. Yi Chen looked very young, definitely not more than 30 years old. But his power was unpredictable. With a bold guess, Yi Chen might be one of the top martial geniuses in the true spirit continent. Chapter 837. What about the 4 demons? Yi Chen asked. Gao Ziyuan replied, among the 4 demons, young undying demon lord is the strongest. He is the head disciple of the undying demon sect, and he cultivates the 9-revolution undying demon art. I heard that 3 years ago he had already advanced it to a heaven-grade art, possessing the most basic undying body. His cultivation base is also frightening, already at the 3rd layer of life and death chamber. His ranking is a bit lower than young elephant lords, and he is ranked 5th on the life and death substitute list. 9-revolution undying demon art? The most basic undying body? Yi Chen's face revealed a pensive expression. If his guess was correct, the 9-revolution undying demon art should be a secret art similar to the undying body. After advancing to heaven grade, its special ability would be the undying body. He didn't expect this kind of art to exist. Moreover, this young undying demon lord was just like him, able to advance his art to heaven grade before entering life and death realm. This kind of talent and ability was rare in the present age. In that case, this young undying demon lord, young elephant lord, and young snake lord are young geniuses at the same level. Among them, young elephant lord is the strongest? Yi Chen casually said. Gao Ziyuan shook his head. You can't say that. The life and death substitute list changes every 10 years. Being weak at that time might not necessarily be the case now. Young Elephant Lord's divine strength is unparalleled, and nobody can fight him head-on. However, young Undying Demon Lord is an exception. He's the only one who can exchange 100 moves with young Elephant Lord. Right, in these 10 years, has no one on the life and death substitute list entered life and death realm and became kings? Yi Chen suddenly asked. Gao Ziyuan explained. Yes. Currently, there are only 32 people on the life and death substitute list. The other 4 have all become life and death kings. Young Elephant Lord was originally ranked 5th, but because the first and second 2 have both become life and death kings, he was able to move up 2 places to 3rd. So that's how it is. Yi Chen faintly nodded. Whoever became a life and death king would be automatically removed from the life and death substitute list, replaced by the people below. The second of the 4 demons is Tai Kuangzuan of the demonic human race. Although Tai Kuangzuan doesn't have the perfect demonic human bloodline, he has mastered the ability to completely transform into a demon without losing his mind. He is arrogant and wild, temperamental, and should be affected by the demon transformation. Tai Kuangzuan is ranked 22 in the life and death realm, 1 rank higher than young Tiger Lord. The 3rd place is Blade Demon Girl Lan Sen. She is the head disciple of the Demon Blade Martial School and one of the brightest rising stars of the Blood Sky Land in the past decade. Together with young Eagle Master, one of the 8 young Beast Masters, they are known as the twin stars of the Beast and Demon. Their potential is at least in the top 3. The 4th is Ling Hui from the Extreme Heaven Martial School. The 8 young Beast Masters and the 4 demons are all from rank 5 martial schools or clans. Only Ling Hui is not from a rank 5 martial school. Therefore, he is very famous and no one dares to look down on him. Because of him, the Extreme Heaven Martial School is known as the top rank 6 martial school in the Blood Sky Land. Gao Ziyuan said tirelessly. Indeed. Yi Chen smiled lightly. With Blade Demon Girl Lan Sanmei's cultivation and power, it would be impossible for her not to be one of the 4 demons. Moreover, from what Gao Ziyuan said, she and young Eagle Master were the brightest martial geniuses in the Blood Sky Land. Although young Elephant Master, young Snake Master, and the others were powerful, their comprehensive ability might not be as good as hers. As for Ling Hui, he naturally could not be underestimated either. According to his life force, he should be in his 30s, which was a bit younger than Bai Wuxue and the others. However, his cultivation was very powerful, having already reached high-rank half-step King Warrior realm. If he were to be brought to this true spirit continent, he would definitely be one of the top warriors. What made Yichen let out a breath was that the Extreme Heaven Martial School did not make things difficult for Mo Xiaotang, allowing her to leave and join the Zhang Tian Martial School. Thinking about it, the Extreme Heaven Martial School should have heard from Ling Hui that Yi Chen's power was not something they could compete with. Instead of fighting to the death, it would be better to wait and see. However, Yi Chen also knew that Gao Ziyuan had a headache. Mo Xiaotang was his fiancée, and the two had a very deep relationship. Li Chui, the female disciple of Zhang Tian Martial School, was also deeply in love with Gao Ziyuan. So, it was not necessarily that Gao Ziyuan did not have any feelings for him. After chatting for half an hour, Yichen had more or less understood what he wanted to know. Taking out a deep purple great sword from his storage ring, Yichen threw it to Gao Ziyuan. You are the head disciple of Zhang Tian Martial School. You can't not have a good great sword. This sword is for you. Gao Ziyuan took a look and said in shock, Semi-extreme grade great sword. Semi-extreme grade great swords were not cabbages. Normally, only half-step king warriors could have them. As the saying went, seeking wealth amidst danger was precisely this principle. You can go back first. Yichen did not care much about a semi-extreme grade great sword. From the Sky Scorpio King's sword tomb, he had obtained a lot of good swords, and this was only one of them. Moreover, as far as he was concerned, semi-extreme grade treasures were not that rare anymore. The rich became richer, and the poor became poorer. This could also be seen among martial artists. Another half a month passed by, and only 1.5 months remained before the opening of the secret realm. During this time, Yi Chen's spiritual sword had finally made a breakthrough. Its might and sword speed had reached a whole new level, and his fast profound had also reached 60% completion. Unfortunately, his slow profound didn't make much progress. It would probably only increase by 10% after his fast profound reached 70% completion. The spiritual sword, which contains 60% fast profound and 60% wood profound, created a subtle balance. The sword's speed and might simply exploded. In Yi Chen's opinion, the two profounds were at the same level in terms of fused profounds. It seemed to have an effect that couldn't be ignored. Waning Moon contains 90% metal profound and 60% water profound. The gap between the two profounds is too big. Balancing them is too hard. Forget it, I'll pay more attention to water profound in the future. I'll let metal profound take its course. Chaotic Demon Region, Demonic Blade Sect, on Demon Girl Peak. Senior sister, please advise me. A male disciple of Demonic Blade Sect stared at Lan Sanmei as he pointed the blade in his hand toward the ground. Lan Sanmei didn't even draw his blade as he spoke indifferently. Senior sister, be careful. This male disciple's cultivation base was not low, having already reached the peak of Late Sea of Soul Realm. Of course, compared to Lan Sanmei, he was far inferior. One was like the sky and the other the earth. However, the two didn't use Zhen Yuan or will in their exchange, only relying on their physical strength. With a wave of his blade, the blade in the male disciple's hand trembled and turned blurry. It was Demonic Blade Sect's unique blade technique. Still not perfect enough. Too many openings. Lan Sanmei's right palm turned into a blade and slashed out. Clang. The blade in the male disciple's hand flew out, stabbing into the ground at an angle. All of you, come together. Lan Sanmei looked at the 8 spectating disciples. The 8 disciples didn't decline. Senior sister Lan Sanmei didn't only have high cultivation base. Without using Zhen Yuan and will, no one under Demonic Blade Sect's life and death realm could be her opponent. If she went all out, there would be no point in fighting. Clang 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 clang. 8 blades flew out, but Lan Sanmei remained unscathed. Mei Er's demonic blade arts have already reached greater completion. Seems like you've gained a lot this time. On a mountain peak shrouded in dark clouds, a tall old man revealed a faint smile. He shouldn't be afraid of demonic blade arts, right? The scene of Yi Chen chopping off the head of the 50 bandits' third head, Xie, appeared in Lan Sanmei's mind. That sword strike was extremely fast, without any fancy moves. Mud Dragon Mountain was a small mountain 800 li away from Eternal Sky Sect. It was very ordinary, and one could tell from its name. Elder, there really is a high-grade mid-grade spirit vein under this mountain? A simple and honest middle-aged man said to the old man in front of him. The old man said with a face full of smiles, "Indeed, I've already probed it. Seems like the heavens are protecting my Eternal Sky sect." Eternal Sky sect was extremely lacking in resources. If they could obtain a high-grade mid-grade spirit vein, it would certainly be able to sustain their development for decades. When more disciples joined, they wouldn't have to worry about spirit stones anymore. On the same day, the two sent the news back. After Li Zhangfeng heard the news, he was both happy and worried. The Mud Dragon Mountain was in the Eternal Sky sect's territory. Normally, it should belong to the sect. However, once the news was leaked out, Eternal Sky sect might not be able to keep this spirit vein anymore. The three top sects had been eyeing Eternal Sky sect for quite some time now. Send the message down to excavate the spirit vein as much as possible. The spirit stones that are excavated are to be sent back once a day. For the Eternal Sky sect, only the spirit stones that they obtained belonged to them. Unfortunately, there was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in the world. The news of the Mud Dragon Mountain finding a high-grade mid-grade spirit vein was still known by the three top sections. It was not because someone leaked the news, but because the three top sects had too many people monitoring Eternal Sky sect. As long as there was a trace, it would not be able to escape their eyes. People of Eternal Sky sect, get out of this area. Otherwise, I will kill you all. In the air above the Mud Dragon Mountain, three groups of people appeared. One group of people were wearing black and white long robes with a fierce vulture sewn on the back. They were from the Vulture Valley. Another group of people were tall, with a huge bear head sewn on the chest area. They were from the Earth Bear family. The last group was from the Extreme Heaven Martial School. The one with the arrogant tone was the leader of the Earth Bear family. The Earth Bear family had always been hot-tempered, and they often killed people. The great master of Eternal Sky sect, Master Lu, was beaten by a half-step beast king from the Earth Bear family until he lost his mind. Everyone, this is our Eternal Sky sect's territory. What you are doing is breaking the rules. An elder of the school stood out. They had only excavated this high-grade mid-grade spirit vein for a couple of days, and they had not even found 1/1000th of it. How could they let it go? Rules. Our Earth Bear family is the rules. The leader of the Earth Bear family threw out a palm attack, turning the elder into a blood mist. Master Lin. Everyone from the Eternal Sky sect looked at him with their teeth clenched. Bastard. The Mud Dragon Mountain suddenly cracked open, and Master Lu flew out, throwing out a sword attack at the leader of the Earth Bear family. Boom! This sword didn't work. From the Earth Bear family, a ferocious old man with the back of a tiger and the waist of a bear walked out. He smashed the sword chi with one punch and grinned, "Luing, looks like I didn't let you suffer enough last time. This time, I'll let you be even more stupid." "It's you." Master Lu's eyes turned red. It was true that he had lost his mind, but this person had left a deep impression on him. 6 half-step king warriors. I wonder if that genius half-step king warrior will act like a coward. Among the Extreme Heaven Martial School's people, the great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School who was hiding in the crowd sneered. Ling Huho said, fighting against 6 half-step king warriors with his own power. He is destined to fail. No one can save the Eternal Sky sect. Chapter 8:38. He allowed Mo Xiaotang to leave the Extreme Heaven Martial School and join the Zhang Tian Martial School because he wanted to prevent the Extreme Heaven Martial School from facing Yi Chen alone. Although the top 3 martial schools were against the Zhang Tian Martial School, they were not on good terms with each other. On the contrary, the competition between the top 3 martial schools had never stopped. If the Extreme Heaven Martial School wanted to protect themselves, they would have to be patient and not let their emotions affect them. As for right now, with the 3 martial schools working together, Yi Chen would not be able to do anything. Lu Yuming looked crazy as he attacked the elder without caring about anything else. Every sword attack was a killing attack that would injure both of them. You are looking for death. The shadow of the earth bear behind the fierce-looking old man was as huge as a mountain. Rings of thick earthy yellow waves spread out, making the air incomparably heavy. Boom! A fist attack was thrown out, twisting the space. This fist attack seemed to contain the power of a huge mountain. Lu Yoming's method of mutual destruction had only left an indistinct sword mark on the old man's chest, while he himself had been sent flying backwards, spitting out a mouthful of blood. You are overestimating yourself. You were not my opponent when you were at your peak. Now that you have lost your mind, you are definitely not my opponent. The elder sneered with disdain. The life and death secret realm is about to open. It is time to finish this once and for all. Half-step king warriors were very sensitive to Yuan Qi vibrations. Although they were 800 miles away, Yichen could still sense the battle on the Mud Dragon Mountain. He stood up and his body flashed, disappearing from the great master palace. 800 miles was only a couple of breaths' time for Yichen. From far away, Yichen could see the Mud Dragon Mountain and the three groups of people flying in the sky. They were naturally the Bald Eagle Valley, the Earth Bear family, and the Extreme Heaven Martial School. And that elder with the Earth Bear shadow behind him should be the half-step demi-beast king of the Earth Bear family. Lu Yuming puked out a mouthful of blood and was blown away. Everyone from the Zhang Tian Martial School was panicking. Seeing Yichen coming, they all yelled out happily. Master Yi is here. With Master Yi here, they would not dare to take the spirit fountain by force. Yes, it is naturally impossible for Zhang Tian School to monopolize the spirit vein. But as long as they can get a quarter of it, it would be enough for them to develop for 10 years. Everyone from the Zhang Tian Martial School naturally did not think that Yichen alone would be able to scare away all the people from the top 3 martial institutions. But with Yichen and Master Lu, they would have the capital to negotiate. They would no longer be like fish on a chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. After all, Yichen's power was not something normal half-step king warriors could compete with. You are the new half-step king warrior of Eternal Sky School? You look quite young. The evil elder was one of the 2 half-step demi-beast kings of the Earth Bear family, and was called the Barbaric Bear King. Ling Hui had left the Zhang Tian Martial School with severe injuries, so he naturally could not escape from the eyes of the Earth Bear family. However, he thought that Ling Hui was injured by Lu Yuming and Yichen. I'll give you a choice. Immediately take your people and leave the Zhang Tian Martial School's territory. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. As for him, he will die. Yichen did not pull out his sword, but pointed his finger at that small leader of the Earth Bear family, who had killed an elder of the Zhang Tian School. Without much effort, a finger hole appeared on the other party's forehead, and he fell to the ground on his back. The top 3 martial institutions looked at each other. This guy was indeed crazy. He had killed a powerful warrior of the Earth Bear family right from the start. He did not take them seriously at all. Little bastard, you are looking for death. The Savage Bear King was furious. The Earth Bear shadow behind his back shook violently, and a thick brown-colored wave spread out towards Yichen. Meanwhile, he himself bent his body and threw out a punch, throwing out a thunderous punch towards Yichen's head. If this punch landed, no matter how big a mountain was, it would still be shattered. Putting up his right hand's index and middle fingers, Yichen sneered as he sliced out with his fingertip. Boom! The surreal space seemed to have been sliced in half. That black curved sword light sliced open the fist power of the Barbaric Bear King and went through his body. With a clanging sound, a crack appeared on the Barbarian Bear King's armor. He felt an incredibly powerful sword chi pass through the armor and into his body, cutting away at his life force. His internal organs were instantly covered in wounds that could not be ignored. One finger attack and he was blown back while puking out blood. What? The Barbaric Bear King was wounded by one finger attack? This scene had caused a lot of people to open their mouths wide, unable to close them. Although the Barbaric Bear King had not reached the life and death challenge realm yet, as a demi-beast with the bloodline of the Earth Bear, he was way more powerful than the human demi-king warriors. Yichen was able to wound the Barbaric Bear King with one finger attack without using any weapon. How could people not be shocked? Earth Prison. After the Barbaric Bear King was wounded, the other demi-beast king from the Earth Bear family stood out. He formed a spell with both of his hands, and an endless amount of Earth Yuan Qi gathered toward Yichen, instantly forming a square yellow cube, trapping him inside. The Spirit Bear King has made his move. It should be able to trap him for a while. The Spirit Bear King's follow-up attacks are the more powerful ones. As everyone was discussing, the Spirit Bear King grinned as he waved his right hand up and yelled, "Mountain flipping stamp." Amidst the shocking Earth Yuan Qi vibration, a huge yellow mountain fell down from the sky like a shooting star, landing on that yellow cube. With that attack, even if it were an Iron Man, he would be badly wounded. Unfortunately, it all depended on who the opponent was. A pitch-black sword mark appeared on the surface of the yellow cube, and a huge amount of sword light shone out of it like a semicircle. The huge yellow mountain and the Spirit Bear King were both within the attacking range of the semicircle. The sword light flashed once, followed by 2 shoe sounds. The huge yellow mountain cracked open first before disappearing completely. Then, the Spirit Bear King followed in the footsteps of the Barbaric Bear King, puking out blood as he was blown away. How could he be this powerful? The Spirit Bear King could not believe it. Master Yi is so powerful. The Barbaric Bear King and the Spirit Bear King were not his opponents at all. They could not even handle one attack. Great! The more powerful Master Yi is, the more hope our Zhang Tian martial school will have. Let's see if the top 3 martial schools dare to insult us again in the future. Everyone from the Zhang Tian martial school was overjoyed. This is not good. Could it be that Eeyore was telling the truth? This guy's power is even more powerful than the Tiger King. Ling Huho frowned. The Tiger King was one of the top 8 beast warriors, and his cultivation had already reached the peak of the first life and death challenge. If he were here, the 6 top half-step king warriors might not be able to take him down. This was the power of a top half-step king warrior, whose power was unpredictable. Leader, you and the Spirit Bear King are both good at sealing attacks. You might be able to take him down. We are not normal half-step king warriors after all. The great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School said with a dark face. Yeah. Ling Huho nodded slightly. He was very confident in his sealing attack, and even the Spirit Bear King was not as good as him. With their combined sealing attacks, they would be able to trap Yichen for a couple of breaths' time, which would be more than enough for him to land a deadly attack. You guys, come at me together. I will take care of you all at the same time and make you guys lie on the ground for a year and a half. In the midair, Yichen held his evil-shattering sword as his eyes landed on the 6 half-step king warriors from the top 3 martial schools. This time, he planned to attack them even harder than Ling Hui. Even if they had precious treasures to heal them, they would not be able to recover in a short period of time. How arrogant! Do you really think that you can take on the 6 of us by yourself? 2 half-step beast kings from the Bald Eagle Valley stood out. They both had eagle noses, thin lips, and 2 black dots in their eyes. They did not look like human eyes at all. They were indeed the Flying Eagle King and the Gray Eagle King. Then, Ling Huho and the Great Master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School stood out as well. Along with the Savage Bear King and the Spirit Bear King, the 6 half-step king warriors surrounded Yichen in the middle. The rest of them had all backed out for dozens of miles, not daring to stay at the edge of the battle. This guy is tricky. Let's take him down together. Let's see what else the Zhang Tian Martial School has. The Spirit Bear King wiped the blood off his mouth as he signaled Ling Huho with his eyes. Ling Huho did not even look away as he stared at Yichen. Let's do it. Ling Huho had always been decisive, so he attacked Yichen right away. He put his hands together and then opened them up. A black core energy appeared in front of Yichen, and a powerful suction force started to drag Yichen's body with the black core as the center. Yichen could feel that this suction force was affecting his speed. Even if he pushed his speed to its limit, he would not be able to escape from it. Indeed, a half-step king warrior with no special features was not scary at all. But a half-step king warrior with special tricks would be hard to ignore even if they were not that powerful. Earth Prison. The Spirit Bear King's reaction was not slow at all. The second Ling Huho made his move, he had also formed a spell. All of a sudden, the yellow cube sealed Yi Chen again. Let's kill him together. Seeing that Yi Chen had been trapped by two powerful sealing spells, the rest of the people looked excited. The Gray Eagle King and the Flying Eagle King waved their hands like wings, throwing out countless wind blades. These wind blades rotated intensely, rubbing against the space and bringing up bright sparks. The Savage Bear King and the Great Master threw out a punch and a kick respectively. The fist power and leg power attacked the yellow cube from the left and right, moving like lightning. Meanwhile, the Spirit Bear King's follow-up attack was still a yellow mountain falling from the sky like a falling star. As for Ling Huho, countless black light chi power appeared around his body. It was centered around the black core energy inside the yellow cube, shooting out with a sizzling sound. 6 half-step king warriors combined their powers, and 2 of them had used their sealing spells to trap Yi Chen. The power that they had released could even kill a normal top half-step king warrior within a second. In their opinion, Yi Chen was not going to make it out alive. Master Yi. Everyone from the Zhang Tian martial school was getting anxious. Lu Yuming yelled, wanting to go up and help. But the Gray Eagle King from the Bald Eagle Valley was already prepared for him. A pair of wings appeared behind his back, and as he flapped them, a huge wind was brought up. A sky full of wind blades attacked toward Lu Yuming, preventing him from getting closer. Inside the yellow cube, Yi Chen's expression did not change at all. His soul power was spread out, and he could clearly sense the 6 attacks coming at him. He waved the evil vanquishing sword lightly, without any hesitation. All of a sudden, the yellow cube and the black core energy started to twist, hovering between illusion and reality. In front of the space power, anything could twist and disappear. Chapter 839. Pop. The 6 attacks that were aimed at the brown block were like stones thrown into the water, bringing up a series of ripples before disappearing completely. That is the space profound. Ling Huho yelled out in shock. He broke our attacks with the space profound. Spirit Bear King and the rest of the warriors had a bad look on their faces. The space profound was known as one of the most powerful profound, and it was not without reason. This kind of profound could contain everything and destroy everything. Besides the time profound, no other profound could beat it. The brown block and the black core energy twisted and disappeared. Yi Chen walked out from within without a single wound. He raised his eyes and looked at Spirit Bear King and Savage Bear King. I will take care of you first. The sword light flashed once, and Yi Chen disappeared from where he was standing. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Spirit Bear King, stabbing out with his sword. It was too fast. Yi Chen's speed was unimaginably fast, and the speed of his sword attack was even faster than Spirit Bear King's senses. Spirit Bear King had just raised his arm when his chest was pierced through. The tip of the sword came out from his back, bringing out a stream of blood. Shaking his wrist, Yi Chen took out his evil shattering sword and jumped towards Savage Bear King. So cruel. A 2-finger-wide sword hole appeared on Spirit Bear King's chest. The sharp destructive sword chi was rampaging inside his body, as if there were countless tiny swords cutting his organs, bones, flesh, and blood. He could not gather his Jin Yuan at all. Piss off. Savage Bear King could only watch Spirit Bear King being wounded badly. He could not save him in time, so he roared and threw out a punch at Yi Chen. However, Yi Chen's body flashed once, disappearing from his sight. The next second, 2 intersecting sword marks appeared on Savage Bear King's chest. It looked horrifying, as if his whole body was about to be torn apart. Boom. He was shot out and embedded into the ground. You guys are up next? Yi Chen's body flashed left and right, avoiding the incoming attacks. He turned his head and looked at Ling Huho and the Great Master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School. Junior, don't be arrogant. The highest elder of the Extreme Heaven sect was furious. He leaped up, and his right leg was like a fully drawn bowstring, kicking hundreds of times in the direction of Yi Chen. The shadows of his legs were like a meteor shower, covering everything. There was no way to dodge or retreat. One strike is enough. Yi Chen's body emitted golden and green light. The waning moon, which contained the metal profound and the water profound, was unleashed instantly. The sky suddenly darkened, and a black crescent moon appeared. Then, the shadows of the legs all over the sky shattered one after another. The great elder of the Extreme Heaven sect had his protective armor split open by the sword power that could cut everything. He was thrown high into the air, and blood rained down. Stop! Yi Chen's attack was so fast and brutal that Ling Huo did not even have the time to react. He put his hands together and then separated them, and the black core energy was about to take shape in front of Yi Chen. But this time, Yi Chen would not let his opponent succeed. He waved his sword, and the newly formed black core energy was split into two. Blood-severing ghost finger. The index and middle fingers of his left hand sliced across the air at Ling Huo, and Yi Chen did not look at him anymore. Ling Huo had never seen such a weird martial art before. That slash from Yi Chen had created an invisible power that completely ignored his protective Zhenyuan and semi-extreme rank armor. It went right through his body and brought out a huge amount of blood qi. The blood qi of a half-step king warrior was so powerful that even 1,000 normal people combined would not be able to compete with it. Ling Huo's whole body was drowned in the blood qi, which looked like the sunset. It was then completely destroyed. He let out a low growl. Ling Huo had never felt this exhausted before. He did not even have the power to lift up his hands. The blood qi inside his body had disappeared by at least 1/3. If it was reduced slowly, he would still be able to handle it. But losing 1/3 of it all at once would not only hurt his body, but also his mental state. Sudden wind feather. The Gray Eagle King and the Flying Eagle King were both eagle-type beasts. As beasts, the two of them were not even as good as normal Sea of Souls realm warriors in terms of the profound sense. In other words, their comprehensive ability was extremely low. But the advantage of beasts was not something that humans could compete with. Not only was their beast power a lot more powerful, but they also had special abilities. Among them, the Flying Eagle King's special ability was to shoot out the feathers on his wings. The sky was filled with feathers, all of them crystal clear like black jade. Yi Chen could tell that there were meridians inside the feathers, and the beast power had formed a cycle inside. Once the cycle was broken, it would explode. Not a bad special ability. As Yi Chen's sword finger moved, the broken blood sword came out of its scabbard automatically. It divided into 33 sword shadows, which then formed into a sword snake. Wherever it went, all of the incoming feathers were cut in half, bringing up a firework-like pattern of beast power. It could not get close to Yi Chen at all. Go! After breaking the Flying Eagle King's special ability, the 33 sword shadows formed into a sword snake and attacked toward him. Not good. The Flying Eagle King flipped in the sky, turning into a huge eagle and was about to fly into the clouds. Swoosh! One of his wings was cut through by the sword snake and fell down. His scream could be heard even from a long distance away. You dare to hurt my nephew! Beasts were already aggressive. Seeing that his nephew's wing had been cut off by Yi Chen, the Gray Eagle King's eyes turned red. He did not care about how powerful Yi Chen was, so he attacked without any hesitation. He turned into his original form and his huge claws reached out. It was the special ability of the Gray Eagle King, Sharp Claw Hardening. Chen. Lifting up the evil shattering sword, Yi Chen blocked out that unbreakable claw attack. Die! The Gray Eagle King's two bathtub-sized claws waved crazily, turning into countless claw shadows that clashed with Yi Chen's evil shattering sword, bringing up a huge amount of sparks. Seeing the gap, Yi Chen suddenly took a step back before stabbing out a sword attack. This sword attack went through the gap between the Gray Eagle King's claws. The sword qi landed on his chest, tearing out a huge sword mark and causing feathers to fly everywhere. Come back! At the same time, Yi Chen pointed his finger back. The sword snake that had flown out for a long time turned around and sliced through the Gray Eagle King's back. Blood splashed out like a fountain as the Gray Eagle King screamed and fell down from the sky. His huge body created a deep pit on the ground, bringing up a huge wave of mud. After that, the 6 Demi-King warriors had all lost, and they were all wounded even more severely than Ling Hui. The Spirit Bear King had been pierced through the chest, and the Savage Bear King had at least a couple of his ribs broken. Even the great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School had suffered the same fate. Ling Huho had lost more than a third of his blood qi, and his mental injury was extremely severe. His face was as white as paper. The Flying Eagle King was a bit worse off. He had lost one of his wings, and it was unknown if he could reattach it. The Grey Eagle King's spine had been sliced through by the sword snake formed by the defensive sword spell, and he had lost all of his battling power. The 6 Demi-King warriors had come with an aggressive aura, but now, they had all been killed. If it were not for Yi Chen holding back, none of them would have survived. The reason why Yi Chen had held back was because he knew that although the Zhang Tian martial school's current situation had something to do with the 3 martial schools, it was not a direct connection. Taking out the 3 martial schools might anger the dominator of the Iron Blood region, the Iron Paw Beast martial school. Therefore, it was not the time to make a big move yet. Letting out a deep breath, Yi Chen put his evil shattering sword back into its scabbard and said to the people from the 3 martial schools, "What are you waiting for? Piss off." The people from the 3 martial schools were all shocked. 6 Demi-King warriors. Any one of them would be powerful warriors, but in front of Yi Chen, they could not even handle one attack. Each one of them was worse than the last. Who the hell is this guy? Since when does the Blood Sky Land have a human who is as powerful as the 4 demons? No, even among the 8 beast warriors or the 4 demons, he would be a top warrior. Let's go. The people from the Extreme Heaven Martial School were the first to react, bringing Ling Huho and the Great Master away. Soon, the people from the Earth Bear family and the Bald Eagle Valley woke up as well, as if they were afraid that Yi Chen would kill them. They came fast and left even faster. Soon, the sky above the Mud Dragon Mountain was completely empty, with only Yi Chen left. Cheers were heard. Everyone from the Zhang Tian Martial School was overjoyed. It had been so many years, and they had never been this powerful. The 3 martial schools were like chickens in Yi Chen's hands. He had scared them away without any effort. What 8 beast warriors? What 4 demons? I bet that Master Yi must be a Sky King realm martial genius on this true spirit continent. He is so powerful. The Blood Sky Land is going to change. I would like to see what would happen when the 8 beast warriors and the 4 demons run into Master Yi. It would definitely shock the whole Blood Sky Land. Everyone's respect for Yi Chen had reached a whole new level. They were almost seeing him as a god. In the distance, Li Zhangfeng, Gao Ziyuan, and the rest had already arrived. Because of the battle between Yi Chen and the 6 half-step king warriors, they did not get close to the battle. But their expressions were not any better than the others. Li Zhangfeng's eyes were even wet. Although the female disciples were all good girls, and they were not very vain, which one of them did not like powerful people? Especially Yi Chen, who was so young, only in his 20s. Therefore, all of their hearts were racing, and their minds were filled with the scene of Yi Chen using his sword to attack his enemies. In their minds, Yi Chen had probably become the highest standard for them to choose a mate, just like chasing after a celebrity. Even Li Chui and Mo Xiaodang had a weird feeling. His blue robe fluttered in the wind, and his black hair was blown by the wind, looking like ink. Yi Chen did not care about everyone's expression as he said, "Since everything is done, I will not stay any longer. Leader, I will go back first." After speaking, Yi Chen's body turned into a beam of sword light and shot out. "Thank you." Li Zhangfeng looked at Yi Chen's back and said quietly. Gao Ziyuan said emotionally, "Some people are destined to be the main characters of an era, and he is one of them, right? As for me, even if I join a rank 5 martial school and have all the resources I need, I will only be able to look at his back. I will not be able to catch up to him." Even if you cannot be the main character, you can still be a side character. This is a big world, and the main characters and the side characters are always competing with each other. Do not be discouraged, or you will not even be qualified to be a side character. Li Zhangfeng reminded Gao Ziyuan. Leader is right. Ziyuan will not let you down. Chapter 840. Extreme Heaven Martial School, Bald Eagle Valley, and Earth Bear Family. These 3 rank 6 powers were not only the top 3 in the Iron Blood region, but also the top 10 among all the rank 6 powers in the entire Blood Skyland. Originally, these 3 powers were targeting Zhang Tian Martial School, and those who knew about it all felt that it was too much of a bully. Were they not pushing Zhang Tian Martial School to a dead end? So cruel. However, there was a recent secret that shocked everyone. The 3 martial schools had gone to the Zhang Tian Martial School aggressively, wanting to take over the spirit vein that the school had found. But in the end, they had all run away. According to the rumors, it was a young man who had beaten all the half-step king warriors of the 3 martial schools. His sword art was extremely mysterious. All in all, Yi Chen's fame had spread out in the Iron Blood region. A lot of people were guessing who Yi Chen was, since there was no such person in the Blood Skyland. Perhaps he had come from some powerful hidden martial school or family. But of course, no matter what, in the eyes of the people who knew about it, Yi Chen was already on par with the 8 beast young warriors and the 4 demons. One of the top 10 beast martial schools, the Iron Paw Beast Martial School. Inside the Iron Paw Beast Palace, the red flame lit up the wide metal walls and the metal pillars, making them look cold and intimidating. On the top seat of the palace that was dozens of floors tall, a huge minotaur was sitting. His calves were a couple of floors tall, and his muscles were like hills. His skin was dark red in color, and he seemed to be very hot. Are you telling the truth? Extreme Heaven Martial School, Bald Eagle Valley, and the Earth Bear family's half-step king warriors were all beaten down by a young man? The Minotaur's eyes were like torches, shooting out 2 red light beams that were dozens of meters long, covering the man in the middle of the palace. The man did not dare to raise his head as he said carefully, "It is absolutely true. I would not dare to lie to you." What kind of weapon did he use? The Minotaur asked. Sword. As the Minotaur's eyes opened and closed, the red light beam flashed in and out. Perhaps he is from the Sky Sword Land? In the following days, no other martial schools or people came to mess with the Zhang Tian Martial School. The mid-rank spirit vein under the Mud Dragon Mountain would add a lot of spirit stones to the school's storage every day, which made everyone in the school happy. In the blink of an eye, more than a month passed. This was the Blood Sky Land, the True Spirit Land, and an Unknown Land. In the middle of these 3 lands, there was a huge mountain range that was filled with ancient chi. It was indeed the Savage Mountain Range. In the sky above the Savage Mountain Range, the space was twisted, and the wind was surging. Amidst the endless thunder and lightning, a huge ancient bronze gate slowly appeared. The surface of the bronze gate was old and mottled, as if it came from the ancient times. The ancient aura that existed forever suppressed the demonic beasts in the Savage Mountain Range, causing them to not dare to move. Even the flow of time seemed to slow down. Any living creature that came to this place would feel fear from the depths of their soul. The gate of life and death had appeared. On the 3 continents, the situation was changing. True Spirit Continent. Swish, 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 swish. One after another, human figures rushed towards the depths of the Savage Mountain Range from all directions. These human figures were all young men, and their ages looked to be around 30 years old. Of course, their actual ages could be around 40 years old, or even close to 50 years old. Some of them had cold expressions, some had fiery eyes, and the temperament they emitted was 1 in a million. Besides them, all of the young men who came to the Savage Mountain Range were half-step king warriors. Some of the older ones even had a light sense of life and death chi, which meant that their cultivation had reached the life and death challenge realm. Right then, a lot of people had already gathered beside the Bronze Gate. Among these people, a lot of them were people that Yi Chen was familiar with. Bai Wuxue, Xia Hozuan, Lu Xiaoyu, Xiao Chuhe, Bai Minghui, Helian Wuhua, Shengguan Fei, Sidahao, and so on. There were also some young half-step king warriors that Yi Chen had never seen before. Quite a lot of people. Bai Wuxue smiled lightly. Lu Xiaoyu glanced at the others and said coldly, "The True Spirit Continent is one of the entrances to the life and death secret realm. Everyone who is able to come here will come. I don't think anyone would give up the chance to enter the life and death secret realm. Indeed, the life and death secret realm could save us a lot of time." Bai Wuxue nodded. Boom, boom, boom. In the distance, A battle sound was suddenly heard. Two human figures kept crossing each other while sword chi and symbol palm power filled the sky. Once we get to the life and death secret realm, I will fight with you again. Shadows overlapped as one of them landed on the peak outside the bronze gate. It was the former West Ocean Sword Master, Luojin. Of course, his cultivation had already reached the half-step King Warrior level, so calling him West Ocean Sword Master was no longer appropriate. Anytime. The other person was the disciple of the Air Emperor, Jiang Tian. He sneered as he landed on the peak on the other side. Although the two were not from the true spirit continent, the entrance to the life and death secret realm was right here, so they had to come here. Both of them were top warriors, one with a powerful sword art while the other had the power of being one with the world. They could not see eye to eye with each other, so they had fought on the way to the Savage Mountains. All of them are insane. Sidu Hao, who had exchanged the defensive sword spell with Yi Chen before, made a face. He was very talented, but compared to these people, he was nothing. In the sky, two light dots came from the left and right. One was blue, and the other was green. One was fire, and the other was water. Yen Feng Feng is here. Bai Wuxue chuckled. And Sha Ruoqing. The blue flame and the green water ball landed on the ground. It was indeed Yen Feng Feng and the godly shark princess, Sha Ruoqing. Both of them were beasts, and their chi was very powerful. However, just as the two landed, a red figure appeared on the other side of the sky. Everyone could tell that it was Dan Tai Mingyue. In terms of talent, Dugu Ju and Dan Tai Mingyue were the most powerful ones in the true spirit continent, and no one could compete with them. Ha, piss off. All of a sudden, a dark red light shadow shot out, blowing away Jiang Tian, who did not manage to dodge in time. The light shadow formed, and it turned out to be a red-haired teenager. It was Chu Zhongtian. You are looking for death. Jiang Tian was not wounded at all. He flew in the sky, staring at Chu Zhongtian with a pale face. Chu Zhongtian chuckled, I have just reached the half-step king realm not too long ago, and my hands are itching. Come on. I would like to see how powerful you are. What? He has just reached the half-step king realm, and he is already this powerful? Every single one of them was a dragon among men. Hearing Chu Zhongtian's words, they were all shocked. Jiang Tian's cultivation had already reached the top-rank half-step king warrior level, and his power was so powerful that no one in the same generation could beat him. However, Chu Zhongtian was only at the mid-rank half-step king warrior level, and he had somehow blown away Jiang Tian without giving him the time to dodge. Evil spirit body. No wonder. Bai Wuxue shook his head and forced a smile. This kind of body type would make even the gods jealous. As an evil spirit body, Chu Zhongtian's cultivation base was extremely hard to increase. However, the process from peak level late sea of soul realm to half-step king warrior realm was much easier for an evil spirit body. After all, as long as the Zhen Yuan formed a perfect circulation in the blood, it would be fine. In fact, because of his evil spirit body, Chu Zhongtian had an easier time reaching the half-step king realm, because his heart was just too powerful. It was an advantage that no one else had. Bastard. 100 symbol palm. Jiang Tian was not someone who would not fight back after suffering a loss. He waved his hand, and a sky-covering symbol palm power attacked toward Chu Zhongtian. Compared to the 5 symbol palm, the 100 symbol palm's power was more than 2 times more powerful. He was so angry that he performed his ace attack right from the start. Hee, good timing. A great rapier appeared in Chu Zhongtian's hand, which he threw out a sword attack. The dark red light was bright and horrifying. It was like a dark red sun had exploded, drowning the symbol palm power completely. Jiang Tian was not easy to deal with either. Although the symbol palm power had dissipated a lot under his control, the rest of it formed into a massive symbol, battling against the dark red light. It was the first time the two had exchanged attacks, and it looked like they were on par. Don't block the way. Chu Zhongtian was arrogant, but there was another warrior who was even more aggressive. 1,000 meters long pale blade light sliced through the sky, slicing through the space between the two. Boom. Chu Zhongtian and Jiang Tian separated. Dugu Ju, whose hair had turned white, walked over with pride. His aura was horrifying, and being stared at by him would make anyone feel like they had fallen into hell. After Yi Chen had left, Duguju's power had improved tremendously. Before, he was still not an opponent for Lu Wujin. But in the battle half a year ago, Lu Wujin had lost the upper hand. Oh, very powerful. Chu Zhongtian licked his lips. The life and death secret realm was about to open. Actually, no one was planning to fight there, and it was just for show. Therefore, Chu Zhongtian and Jiang Tian took the opportunity to stop fighting. After about 15 minutes, 7 human figures appeared from afar. They were indeed the young warriors who had the life and death chi on them. There were 5 males and 2 females. It is Luo Tiandu and the rest. Bai Wuxue looked serious. Although these people had not appeared in front of them in the past few years, those who knew about them all knew who they were. They were the young martial geniuses of the previous generation who had entered the life and death secret realm before, and they were already half-step king warriors. As half-step king warriors, they would naturally not be in the same group as them back then. After all, half-step king warriors and Sea of Souls realm warriors would not be able to compete with each other. Among these 7, Luo Tiandu was the most powerful one, ranked second on the life and death realm warrior list. The other 6 were all on the list as well. Xian Ho, Thunder Spirit King, and Luo Tiandu. They were all in the same generation. But back then Xian Ho was just too amazing. To be honest, Luo Tiandu had entered the life and death secret realm less than Xian Ho, but they were still in the same generation after all. Xian Ho and Luo Tiandu were just like us and Luo Tiandu. There was a gap of 10 years in between. Everyone was discussing as they looked at the 7 people who had just arrived. Young people nowadays are all so hot-tempered. The long-haired young man next to Luo Tiandu cracked a smile as he glanced over at Chu Zhongtian, Jiang Tian, and Duguju. Luo Tiandu sneered, as if you are very old. Hee, compared to them, we are considered old. If we were normal people, we would be around 50 years old. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.